Near-death experiences, the 5 things people say seconds before they die. According to hospice nurses and doctors, death is a profound and mysterious transition, and those who work closely with the dying, hospice nurses and doctors, often witness remarkable moments in a person's final moments. Many hospice workers report hearing similar phrases and witnessing common themes among those at the end of their lives. These messages provide insight into the dying process, what people experience in their final seconds, and how their perception of life and death shifts in those moments. The 5 things people say right before they die. 1. I'm ready, and I want to go home. A sense of acceptance often settles in before death. Many hospice workers report patients stating that they are ready to leave, using phrases like, "I'm ready" or "I want to go home." This doesn't always mean a physical home, but rather a spiritual transition, as if they sense they are being guided somewhere peaceful. Maggie Callanan, a hospice nurse with decades of experience, co-authored the groundbreaking book Final Gifts, which explores the spiritual and emotional experiences of dying individuals. Through her work in hospice care, Callanan has observed a common phenomenon where patients use symbolic language to describe their impending transition. This language, often metaphorical and deeply personal, provides insight into how individuals perceive their journey from life to death. Dying patients frequently speak in metaphors about travel, departure, or preparation, which hospice workers recognize as a way of expressing their awareness of approaching death. Rather than directly stating that they are dying, individuals may say things like, "I'm packing my bags. I need my ticket. The train is coming soon. I have to get ready for my trip. I need to catch my flight." These statements, while seemingly ordinary, hold profound meaning in the context of end-of-life care. They indicate that the patient subconsciously or spiritually understands that they are preparing to leave the physical world. Hospice nurses have noted that this type of language often appears days or hours before death, signaling a transition into a different state of consciousness. Why do patients use symbolic language? Callanan and other hospice professionals believe that this symbolic language serves several purposes. A gentle acknowledgement of death. Many patients, even those who are ready to pass, may find it difficult to confront death directly. Using metaphors allows them to express what is happening in a less frightening way. A reflection of an internal experience. Hospice nurses report that many dying individuals described seeing or feeling something that suggests movement or travel. They may perceive a journey that is unfolding, and their language reflects this vision. A comforting way to communicate with loved ones. Patients often use these phrases as a way to communicate their transition to their family without causing alarm. For example, saying, "I'm waiting for my ride," may be more comforting than saying, "I am about to die." A connection to spiritual or religious beliefs. Many religious traditions describe death as a journey, whether it be crossing a river, ascending to another plane, or traveling to an afterlife. Patients may unconsciously draw from these beliefs as they near death. Maggie Callanan shares numerous accounts of patients using travel-related metaphors. In one case, an elderly man repeatedly asked his family, "Do I have my ticket yet?" At first, his loved ones thought he was confused, but hospice workers recognized this as a sign that he was preparing to pass. A few days later, he peacefully took his last breath. Another patient, a woman in her final hours, smiled and said, "The train is here. I have to go now." Moments later, she passed away. Her family, initially unsure of what she meant, later found comfort in the idea that she experienced a peaceful transition. Understanding these metaphors can help family members and caregivers better support their loved ones in their final moments. Instead of dismissing these statements as confusion, loved ones can acknowledge them with warmth and reassurance. Responses like, "Your bags are packed and you're ready to go," or "It sounds like a peaceful journey ahead," can provide comfort to the dying person. Maggie Callanan's work in Final Gifts has helped countless families recognize that death is not just a medical event, but a deeply personal and spiritual journey. The symbolic language used by the dying serves as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, offering profound insight into what may lie beyond. Number 2. Tell them I love them. One of the most common final statements is a declaration of love. Dying patients often express gratitude, affection, and deep emotions for their family members. Even those who have struggled with relationships seek to reconcile and leave a message of love behind. Patricia Pearson is a renowned journalist, author, and nurse who has extensively researched near-death experiences, NDEs, and end-of-life phenomena. In her book, Opening Heaven's Door, investigating stories of life, death, and what comes after, she explores the profound experiences of individuals who are close to death and the common themes that emerge in their final moments. Through her research and interviews with hospice workers, nurses, and families of the dying, Patricia has documented numerous accounts of patients describing beautiful places and seeing deceased loved ones just before passing away. She notes that these visions often occur in a deeply peaceful and lucid state, contradicting the common assumption that they are simply hallucinations caused by a failing brain. Pearson highlights how many individuals nearing death describe a stunning and vivid environment that is difficult to put into words. Some describe radiant light, vast landscapes, and a feeling of being enveloped in warmth and love. Others speak of deceased family members, friends, or even spiritual figures appearing to them as if welcoming them to another realm. These experiences are not limited to a single culture or religious belief, but are reported universally across different backgrounds. One of the most compelling patterns Pearson observed was that even patients who were previously skeptical of an afterlife or spirituality would suddenly report seeing familiar faces from the past. She recounts stories of elderly patients reaching out as if grasping unseen hands, smiling at unseen presences, or whispering the names of long-departed loved ones. Her work suggests that these deathbed visions provide comfort not only to the dying, but also to their loved ones. Many families have reported feeling reassured knowing that their loved ones passed peacefully while expressing joy, recognition, or awe at what they were witnessing. Furthermore, Pearson's research challenges conventional medical explanations for NDEs. While some argue that such experiences are simply the result of oxygen deprivation or brain chemistry, the clarity and consistency of these reports suggest that they could be more than just biological responses. One particularly moving case in Opening Heaven's Door involved a man in hospice care who had been unresponsive for hours. Just before he passed, he suddenly opened his eyes, looked upward, and whispered, "It's so beautiful. They're all here." His family, standing by his bedside, was astounded as he smiled with deep serenity before taking his final breath. This type of experience is not uncommon, and Pearson believes that such moments provide a glimpse into what may lie beyond our physical existence. She emphasizes that while we may not fully understand what happens after death, the repeated accounts from dying individuals suggest that it is not something to fear, but rather a transition into something peaceful and profound. Patricia Pearson's work has been instrumental in shedding light on the spiritual dimensions of dying. Her research suggests that the process of passing is often accompanied by profound and mystical experiences, reinforcing the idea that death may not be an end, but a continuation of existence in another form. Her findings provide hope and comfort to those who fear death or are coping with the loss of a loved one, suggesting that the final moments of life can be filled with beauty, connection, and a sense of homecoming. 3. I see them, or they're here. Many dying individuals report seeing deceased loved ones, angels, or even divine figures. They may call out names, smile, or express recognition of someone unseen by the living. Hospice nurses note that this is not mere hallucination, but often a peaceful and reassuring experience. Julie McFadden is a highly experienced hospice nurse with over 15 years in the field of end-of-life care. Through her extensive work with dying patients, she has observed consistent patterns in their final moments, particularly regarding visions of deceased loved ones. One of the most frequent experiences she has documented is patients reporting visits from deceased relatives, friends, or even spiritual figures. These visions typically occur in the days, hours, or even moments before death. Patients often express joy, recognition, and a deep sense of peace when they see these apparitions. Julie has shared cases where patients who were previously anxious about dying suddenly became calm and reassured after seeing a deceased parent, sibling, or spouse. Some patients engage in conversations with these unseen figures, while others simply smile or reach out toward something only they can see. Julie firmly believes these experiences are not hallucinations caused by medication or the brain shutting down, but rather a natural and meaningful part of the dying process. She notes that these visions are often described with vivid clarity and consistency across different patients, regardless of their religious or spiritual beliefs. Her insights suggest that these experiences help ease the transition from life to death, providing reassurance that no one dies alone. Families witnessing their loved ones interacting with these unseen presences often find comfort in knowing that their loved one is being guided into the next realm by familiar and caring spirits. She actively shares her knowledge and experiences through social media, occasional workshops, and interviews. She aims to remove the fear and stigma surrounding death by showing that it is often a peaceful, even beautiful process. She encourages families to be present, listen, and allow their loved ones to express what they are seeing, rather than dismissing it as confusion or delirium. Her work highlights how death can be a sacred and meaningful journey, rather than something to be feared. Through her dedication, Julie continues to bring awareness to the deeply spiritual and emotional aspects of dying, reminding us that love and connection do not end with death but continue beyond this life. 4. It's so beautiful. Do you see that? Some individuals speak of seeing something breathtaking just before they pass. They describe lights, landscapes, or celestial beings, often expressing awe and wonder. Hospice nurses believe these glimpses into the afterlife bring comfort and a sense of serenity. Dr. Penny Sartori is a renowned former intensive care unit (ICU) nurse and researcher who has dedicated much of her career to study near-death experiences, NDEs, and the final moments of dying patients. Through her extensive work in hospitals, she has witnessed firsthand how individuals on the brink of death often undergo profound spiritual or metaphysical experiences. Her findings align with many other hospice nurses and end-of-life care professionals who report that patients exhibit a heightened sense of awareness, peace, and even euphoria as they transition from life to death. One of the most intriguing aspects of Dr. Sartori's research is the phenomenon of terminal lucidity, a sudden and unexpected moment of clarity and awareness in patients who may have been unresponsive or cognitively impaired for long periods. Even those suffering from severe neurological conditions such as Alzheimer's disease or strokes sometimes regain the ability to speak, recognize loved ones, and share meaningful last words before passing away. Dr. Sartori recounts cases where dying individuals, after days or weeks of being in an unconscious or confused state, suddenly sit up, speak clearly, and express a sense of calmness and understanding. These moments often include declarations such as, "I understand now. I'm not afraid anymore. Everything is as it should be." Seeing unseen presences and going home. Another striking theme in Dr. Sartori's research is the number of dying patients who report seeing deceased loved ones, spiritual figures, or other unseen presences. Many patients describe these figures as waiting for them, guiding them, or reassuring them that they are about to enter a place of peace and love. Common phrases reported include, "They're here for me," "I see Mom, Dad," "I have to go now, I'm going home." Dr. Sartori emphasizes that the phrase "going home" does not always refer to a physical location, but often signifies a transition to another realm or spiritual plane. Patients who express this sentiment often do so with joy, relief, and a sense of acceptance, as if they are being called to a place of familiarity and comfort beyond this world. Dr. Sartori approaches these experiences with both scientific curiosity and deep respect for spiritual interpretations. While some researchers suggest that visions of deceased loved ones and feelings of euphoria may result from the brain's response to oxygen deprivation or the release of endorphins, Dr. Sartori argues that these experiences are too consistent, meaningful, and transformative to be dismissed as mere hallucinations. Her studies also include interviews with patients who had NDEs but were later revived. Many describe floating above their bodies, traveling through tunnels of light, and encountering entities that radiate unconditional love and wisdom. These individuals often return to life profoundly changed, with newfound spiritual awareness and a reduced fear of death. Dr. Sartori's research has greatly influenced the way healthcare professionals view death, dying, and spiritual experiences at the end of life. She advocates for a more compassionate and open-minded approach in hospitals and hospices, encouraging caregivers to honor and acknowledge a patient's visions and experiences instead of dismissing them as confusion or delirium. Her work reassures families that their loved ones are not suffering in fear or distress, but are often transitioning with a sense of peace and guidance. She believes that death is not an end, but a passage into another state of existence. And those who have passed before us may be present to help guide us on that journey. Her findings suggest that death is often accompanied by profound spiritual experiences, providing comfort not only to those who are passing, but also to their loved ones. Her research serves as a bridge between science and spirituality, offering compelling evidence that consciousness may continue beyond physical death. Her work encourages us to view the dying process not with fear, but with reverence, knowing that many who cross over do so with a sense of purpose, clarity, and the loving presence of those who came before them. 5. I'm not afraid, and everything will be okay. Barbara Carnes is one of the most respected voices in hospice and end-of-life care, having dedicated her career to understanding and educating others about the dying process. With decades of experience as a hospice nurse, she has witnessed firsthand the profound changes that occur in the final moments of life. Barbara is widely known for her booklet, Gone From My Sight: The Dying Experience, often referred to as the Little Blue Book in hospice care. This guide has provided comfort to countless families by explaining the natural stages of dying, what to expect, and how to offer emotional support during this transition. Her work has helped demystify death, making it less feared and more understood as a peaceful journey rather than a frightening event. In her observations, she has confirmed that many dying patients report seeing spiritual figures, deceased loved ones, or angelic beings moments before passing. She describes these experiences as universally comforting, often bringing a sense of calm and acceptance to the individual. Some patients have spoken aloud, calling out names of relatives who have already passed, while others simply smile and look beyond the physical world as if seeing something beautiful and welcoming. She emphasizes that these visions are not hallucinations, but a natural part of the dying process. She explains that as the body shuts down, the spirit seems to prepare for transition, allowing glimpses into what lies beyond. This phenomenon is so common that hospice workers and medical professionals often reassure families that their loved one is not in distress, but experiencing something sacred. In addition to spiritual visions, Barbara has noted that patients often deliver deep, reassuring messages in their final moments. Many express love, gratitude, or a sense of peace, even if they were previously anxious about dying. She believes this is part of a greater process of letting go, where the dying person begins to separate from their earthly concerns and embrace a new reality. Barbara Carnes' insights have reshaped the way many people view death, shifting the perspective from one of fear to one of acceptance and understanding. Through her writings, lectures, and hospice work, she continues to provide comfort to both the dying and their families, reminding us that death is not an end, but a transition into something beyond our comprehension. The last words of dying individuals provide deep insight into the transition from life to death. Whether it's seeing loved ones, expressing love, acknowledging beauty, or embracing the journey ahead, these messages offer a sense of continuity and peace. While death remains a mystery, hospice nurses affirm that it is often far more serene and meaningful than we fear. May this knowledge bring comfort, understanding, and a sense of peace to those facing the loss of a loved one or contemplating their own journey beyond this life. If you found this insight valuable, make sure to subscribe to stay updated on more eye-opening content about life, death, and beyond. Don't forget to like this post if it resonated with you, and share it with others who may find comfort in these powerful experiences. Your support helps spread awareness and understanding about the mysteries of the end-of-life journey. Thank you.